Welcome back, Star People. I'm your host, Stevie, here with another episode of Star Quality, my podcast and newsletter. And this is our Venus Things episode, which is the monthly, end of the month, Venus Day, last Friday of the month recap about all things pop culture, media, recommendations, movies, what I'm digging, what I'm vibing with. And I have to say, I'm really glad I waited till now to record because Lana Del Rey got married yesterday. So we are going to start the episode with a deep dive on Lana. I'm going to look at the synastry of her chart with her new husband and also the astrocartography of the location where she got married and just general Lana Del Rey astrology, especially related to her relationships. So that's first things first. We will get into that. Star Quality is a user-supported production. So all of the ingresses where I write about the planetary ingresses, we just had our Venus planet move into Scorpio. So I wrote about that this week. Also, Mercury moved into Libra. So all of those ingress writings are free. There are weekly written forecasts with the day-by-day guide of the energy of the week. Those are free from Monday and Tuesday, and then Wednesday on is paywalled. So this is just a loving reminder to please support this. If you're listening to this and like this, please give me $7.77 a month. For $7.77, yes, angel numbers, you can join my, all right, wait for it, another angel number, third space, which is just the community I call my paid supporters. Those in the third space get to submit questions for the Venus Things episode. So I will have 2 listener questions coming up after Lana. We're going to cover Lana. Then we're getting into listener questions, and then I'm going to get into movie recommendations. I'm going to share my September playlist with you guys as well and go over any things that I like. There's actually some product stuff. If I'm getting paid for any of the product things, I will tell you. But truth be told, I'm a Taurus sun, conjunct Venus. I just like the stuff I like. So a lot of these are just not a sponsored ad, just the things I'm digging because I like talking about the stuff I like. So shout out to everyone who has subscribed. Please subscribe. Please share it with your friends. Please comment on this post if you want to weigh in, have a convo. I'd love to chat with you. I'll probably start a thread on the thread notes section of Substack about the Lana stuff because, let's get into it. But thank you to the paid supporters. This episode, first chunk, so the Lana portion and the listener questions will be free. And then if you get to the end, it's paywall. So if you want to keep listening the second half, please think of upping your subscription. Also, if you want to, you could do a 7-day free trial and check me out, see if you like it. Also, if you want to subscribe for a little bit, then turn it off, then come back, do you, whatever works for your life, money, budget. I totally get it. But for the cost of buying me an iced coffee every month, you can support this, and then I can make more episodes too. So that rocks. Okay, Lana Del Rey, Lizzie Grant. Well, if you don't know, Lana Del Rey, obviously icon, singer, chanteuse. Famously, she believed she was a Gemini for quite a long period, but then when she got her birth time, found out that she is a 0-degree Cancer sun. So here's a big 3 report on Lana. So we have a 0-degree Cancer sun. She's a Scorpio rising and a Leo moon. Also, let me just lay out the chart. She's also Taurus Venus, conjunct her North Node. Also, her rising is conjunct South Node and Saturn in Scorpio as well. She has Mercury and Mars in Cancer with her sun, not in a totally tight conjunction. She's a 0-degree sun, 8 degrees Mars, 16-degree Mercury. Jupiter in Aquarius, and then she's June 21st, 1985 at 4:47 p.m. in New York. So then Capricorn, Neptune, Uranus, Sag, and I'm just looking around the chart, Pluto, Scorpio, Avi. Okay. And Chiron and Gemini. Okay. So earlier this week, there was news that Lana got a marriage certificate. So everyone was like, what? And then these drone photos and video leaked from the Gator Airboat Tour Farm zone that her fiance, now husband, Jeremy Dufrene, like, what a character name. Like, it sounds like a character in a book. Like, I'm going to use that name in the future for a fictional book. And so Lana got married on September 26, 2024. We do not have, or I don't have the time, but I'm going to assume, because most weddings usually are around like 3 to 4 p.m. But if anyone has the exact time of the ceremony, let me know. Maybe I should just like email a paparazzi and be like, do we know what time the vows happened, or do we have a timestamp on the photo? But we can only assume it was around 3 p.m. So don't hold the rising sign time too hard, because we just don't know. I also have Jeremy, her husband's chart. We also don't know his rising sign just yet, but we can gather some information and see what their synastry and compatibility is. Just some Lana dating history. She has a record of older men, not necessarily famous, usually like what's his deal sort of vibe. It's interesting to know that she has her Venus and North Node truly straddling her descendant. Her Venus is just below the horizon, and then the North Node is just above. Since I use Placidus, her Venus is actually sitting in the 6th house and her North Node in the 7th. But I like thinking of it straddling these like two worlds. Or on the flip side, with her rising sign, she has the South Node and Saturn below the horizon, just below her rising. But it's interesting because Lana has always gotten this rep of sort of being underappreciated and underdog. Of course, she's like very famous, but also has been like historically snubbed and flopped and whatever. And by the way, I'm a Lana fan, just to make everything clear. So anything that feels like critique, I don't know. I went to art school and we can all handle critiques. I think we all should get more used to it. Anyways, but Lana does have a kind of underdog quality that like not all the mainstream pop girlies fall into. And looking at the synastry of these two charts is pretty interesting, because for Jeremy, so his birthday is March 21st, 1968 I put a noon time just because we don't have the time. And then he's in, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this, Des Allemands, Louisiana, which is, I believe, the same town where they got married on the 26th. So yesterday, as I'm recording this, on the 27th. But in Lana's 5th house of romance, of children, of creation, of passion, this is where we find Jeremy's Sun, Saturn, and North Node. I would not be shocked if Lana has children soon. Like, I'm not going to say this is like just a sperm donation situation, but it's giving like, let's just do marriage and life and get this thing rolling. I would assume Jeremy has been treating Lana like a queen and probably getting a lot of that just like down and rugged romance that she has been looking for. Now, depending on what time Jeremy was born, he's most likely a Capricorn moon, but there's a small probability he's Sagittarius, but he'd have to be born pretty early in the morning, but just have to flag that in case that is the case. If so, with this noon chart, his moon is also sitting right on top of Lana's Neptune in the 2nd house, perfectly conjunct. I mean, I feel like this is a breaking through any delusion of this being for money in a positive way for Jeremy. It seems like Jeremy does pretty all right by himself, and obviously maybe his standards and cost of living is quite probably lower, but when we think of like Cap Moon with this sort of daddy vibe as well, I like that there's this breaking through the fog of Neptune with the Capricorn moon. Like, of course, there's stability they're both bringing into each other's lives. Lana's in a literal financial sense, and it's interesting to see her Neptune in the 2nd house because she's really just profited well from making fantasy the reality with her music, with her world building and all of that. And then Jeremy just being like a real salt of the earth, hands in the dirt, Cap Moon man. So love it. Also, going off the noon chart, this would put his Jupiter in Leo, right, perfectly conjunct Lana's midheaven. So I think too, there's like real muse potential. I know, the internet has been a buzz with can't wait for the next album because of this news. Also, Lana's country album has been famously delayed. We were supposed to get Lasso earlier in the year, and then I think it was supposed to be September, and now I don't know what the deal is with Lasso. Does anyone, let me Google, just see if there's been any update. Yeah, it's now being moved to 2025. Now, I know a lot of people are saying, like, is this just like performance art to kind of get into the channeled theme of this country album that's also like Southern Gothic themed? I mean, that seems like it'd be a fairly cruel thing to do to this man, but also I'm not surprised if part of the appeal is this muse energy, which I think this Jupiter in Leo on Lana's midheaven does confirm that is that's not an option. I think also, I don't know if, I know everyone keeps like sharing like photos of him on his like gator boat and him looking very down home and country. When he went to London with Lana and cleaned up in that suit, I was like, I get it. I see it. I see the vision. I see the material we're working with, and Lana's always skewed for an older lad. Also notable is he has Venus and Mercury both in Pisces, conjunct by 2 degrees at 5 degrees for the Mercury and 7 degrees for the Venus, in Lana's 4th house space of home and security. Also Pisces being very dreamy and artistic. Also transit-wise in Lana's chart, she's having Saturn in Pisces going through her 4th house space of home and security and just building that life. So I am not shocked that she wants to settle down and settle roots and to really connect. Connecting on a spiritual level is big for her. She's also having Uranus moving through her 7th house of relationships, and it's been cruising through Taurus. So like having a unexpected change of relationship is also very, very on brand. And also just while I'm on her current transit mode, wow, she got like married on her like exact lunar return. Also is in her Mars return, and also Venus is currently on her Pluto. It just felt like, as to quote Lana, when you know, and I think I can see maybe part of her reasoning or like not giving us a fuck of you're making the right decision, or this is like, I don't know. I've always said this. It's like, I think it's kind of chic to be the woman with like 5 marriages on your Wikipedia, and like it's even chicer when one of the marriages is like a repeat, like when someone gets remarried to someone, like married from like 1985 to 1991, then they have a new husband, then they have a wife, then they have a new husband, then they go back to like the 1985 to 1981 husband. So I don't know, I'm kind of like, I know Lana's been engaged before, so I am not too shocked that she's like, let's just fucking get married. Like, do the damn thing already. Okay, I misspoke about the lunar return because I was looking at today's lunar transit. So the moon was in Cancer, assuming she was married in the afternoon time. So if anyone has the timestamp on the ceremony, please let me know. But I'm going to base this off a 3 p.m. time for September 26, 2024. In that Des Allemands, Louisiana location. So I want to talk about the marriage chart because this is also a service I offer. I did this for my own wedding. I actually had 2 weddings. The reason I had 2 weddings was because of the astrology, and I wanted to do an elopement and do like a very intimate vacation-y eloping moment in a Libra season, and then I had like a big party a few months later in Sagittarius season because the weather of when I wanted to get married wasn't great in terms of astrology, so I had to make it work. So I was like, you know what, let me sign the papers during an optimum time, and then we'll throw the party during a more retrograde time, and maybe this will work to the benefit. And it did. And so far all the other weddings and events I've elected have been really good. So I'm into this. Also, so if you want election services, let me know, whether that's for your business or wedding or whatever. We can work with the dates you want to look at and make sure that they're, there's never going to be a perfect day. There's always going to be something that is a hiccup in terms of the astrology, but we want the most optimum day. We want the best as we can day. And Okay, thinking at Lana. So Mercury moved into Libra that day and lined up with the sun, which I really like. I love, who doesn't love a Libra season wedding? It's a very literal and very sweet. Let me look at later in the day because I guess it's still kind of light out. And the moon might have moved into Leo by that time. That's very possible. So we don't really fully know, but I'm just going to let it sit here at this like late degree Cancer as I look at this chart. This is an audio only episode today. Usually Venus Things is because I get into gremlin mode and just like lurk at my computer and I'm like really greasy, and so that's what's up. Okay. So this South Node conjunction with the Sun and Mercury is interesting because I wouldn't necessarily advise to get married with a major Venus connection tied to the South Node, just because the South Node is about releasing and undoings. And so off the bat, it's not my favorite combination, even though I do think the Libra season energy of it all does outweigh some of that. It's like a little medicine, but it's still right up on the sun, so it's not my favorite. On the positive flip, though, it could be this, especially for Lana, who's such a public figure, it could be this undoing of giving a fuck what people think about her and choosing love. Feels like a nice version of that story. Also too, it's Venus and Scorpio. It's nice for her rising in chart because that's like her, but it's squaring the moon. If we go with this late afternoon time, it's squaring Pluto, and Venus and Scorpio. We want to make sure in an election chart, ideally, that the Sun, Moon, Jupiter, and Venus are happy. That's my goal. Because like Mars and Saturn are always going to be cranky to some degree. So like whatever, we can best try to appease them as well. But we want the happy planets in happy positions as best we can. Jupiter and Gemini, there's a lot of detrimental energy afoot. Again, I don't think it's like the worst. Like I think it being just Libra sun season really helps in general. Even though I'm like now about to take that back because Libra's technically in fall in the sun, but whatever. Like it's a general happy season in terms of partnership. The Mars trine Saturn of it feels like there's positivity in this being like a karmic bond or like an everlasting bond. Like I feel like these two are going to be in each other's lives for a long time. I mean, I know that they sort of started with this photo of them from 2019, so they've obviously known each other for some time, but like how much of this was romantic versus just being friends, or I don't know. So there does feel like some kind of karmic tie. Maybe they've like known each other in a past life, but the Saturn trine Mars, Saturn in Pisces, Mars in Cancer, feels like a really deep kind of forever knowing that they've had. So I really do like that for them. And I get this sense just looking at the transits on Lana's chart that this might be a real, like, I don't know if she's like moved. Like I know she's an LA girly, but maybe like the old LA scene has worn out for her because she's also having this Pluto transit through her third, Saturn through her fourth, Uranus through her seventh. There feels like needing a change of scenery that is connected to the partner. So maybe it's also just wanting this escape from her day-to-day life and going somewhere totally new where she maybe doesn't know as many people, or it's like just a different energy. I'm looking at our astrocartography as well, and the closest lines to Louisiana in general is this moon midheaven line, and then it's in the same corridor as Pluto on the ascendant. So Pluto has like quite staying power. Like people end up staying for a long time often on Pluto lines. They're hard to escape, and it's not always because it's bad. It might just be because there's like a deep knowing and investment. And then moon on the midheaven might be this new availability for her to show sides of herself that weren't available before, especially a Leo moon, like just feeling this like connection to the area and the story and all that. And I'm looking at her chart more, and it's interesting because she's really, made this LA story, like, has really amplified her, and she has her California and LA in particular is in between her Mars midheaven and her Mercury midheaven. So she's had a lot of juice putting out action and words and her image and all that through this California vessel. But now with the South, there is this like Pluto ascendant, like a change of identity mixed with the moon midheaven, which is also maybe bringing out some like deep repressed, like a side of her that she's wanted to show that maybe has not been taken seriously. I am from my moon midheaven line, and maybe it's my Aries moon. She's also a fire moon, but it can be really up and down. But maybe she's liking a little bit of the change, since the moon is always changing, versus maybe like LA might have just been getting a little too much of the same stuff all the time. And she's kind of like accomplished that world building there. Like, we get it. Ultimately, their charts together does open up this very different story for Lana. And, their suns do square each other, but I'm in a sun square marriage myself, and that can also push you towards these new chapters that you're looking for. And I wonder too, sometimes, I'm not saying that it's not a marriage for love, but sometimes a marriage or a partnership or a person coming into your life can also just be like, maybe she's just really enjoying being in this quiet, smaller place so she can write and work and get regular boink sessions. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes it's like, this is just the right environment for her to show herself and her art in this new way. Because I don't know, maybe it was like performing Coachella. I wonder if that hit her California peak in her mind. Like, not saying she's done with California. I don't think she'll ever be fully done, because she's like a legend for SoCal and the LA community. But I know that she, I think she just really wants to find love and have it be the real deal and have it be something that feels grand and expressive. And yeah, I think they're gonna have a kid. Like, really, I think they're gonna have a kid by like next. I mean, what is it? Let me do some math. I wonder if she's like pregnant already. Would not be shocked if my bet would be like an Aries child, maybe Aries 2026, if not a Cancer or Scorpio child next year. Would not be surprised by that. We'll see. Anyways, okay. I mean, I think that's all I have. I just wanted to do a quick, I didn't really have time. This just news kind of came up, and I was like, wait. Let me pull up the data. Let's talk about this now. And so, congratulations to Lana. Don't be haters. Don't be monitoring spirits. Let her live. Let her have her fun. Like, babe, let celebrities be celebrities. Let them, like, this is what we got. This, to me, is dream material. Like, Lana Del Rey marrying a gator guide. I love it. And also, we've been seeing that so much more, even with, like, Bella Hadid with her, like, cowboy boyfriend. Like, I don't know, sometimes the girls just want a rustic man. They want a man that has, has put in some manual labor and is not connected to their world and to their work. I know I've sent this joke to many of my friends, but, a man with a curated Instagram is usually not a good husband. And not all men, and I'm joking, but also am I. So shout out to Lana. She got her country love. We'll see how long this lasts. I don't know based off of this synastry, but based off the wedding date, based off a bit of the synastry, should I just make a prediction? Yeah, I just need to get over the fear of being wrong. We're also in between eclipses, reminder. So timelines get accelerated during eclipses, and this is a fucking testament. I think it might wrap up by next fall, but we'll see. I think we'll get a baby before then, but we'll see. That's my guess. You heard my dates, my baby peaks and valleys guesses. Oh yeah, with Jupiter in Cancer next year, are you fucking kidding? She's gonna give birth. That's happening. And everyone should be mindful of your birth control next year when Jupiter's in Cancer, because we're all at liability of getting pregnant. Okay, this section is for the advice question. So if you are a paid supporter, you get to submit a question. I have 2 questions, and they are both very different. So let's get into question number 1. So this is submitted by Heather. And the question is, hi, Stevie. I've been waiting for the next round of Venus things so I could submit a question I have about astrology for twins. I am the parent of twins born 3 minutes apart, so their birth charts look identical. While they are similar to each other, they are their own unique person, but it's not reflected in their placements. I'm curious what your thoughts are on this, or if there are some kind of unique things that twins can use in astrology. Happy to share more specific info. I'm really looking forward to your insight here if you decide to use this question. Thanks so much, Heather. Thank you, Heather. Love this. And great question, because this is a very, I don't want to say it's like a common question, but it's definitely, I've heard this question before, and I think it's a good one to go over in terms of what happens when you share a chart with someone, right? Like, I don't know, I have a friend who's born on the same day as another friend. Now, they do have different risings, so they're born 2 hours apart, but like, you know, when you share a lot of astrological material with someone, like, what does that mean? And especially for twins who are, you know, in theory, as far as I know, growing up in the same household, only born a few minutes apart, so their rising is probably not changed all that much. What does that mean? Now, unless these twins were born right on the cusp of the rising sign switching over, 3 minutes is really quick. So they most likely have the same degree rising sign. What is going to change is that second number, which is the minutes. So there's already going to be that very slight variation, just to flag that, in terms of someone being born minutes apart, right? So they aren't going to have an identical chart, but they do have a very, very nearly identical chart. And I think the thing that I've think about when it comes to twins is having the experience of being in the shared womb is already a different blueprint story, period. Having a same age peer grow up and be part of your existence is already a different part of that story, period. Something I've heard, I can't remember where, but I've heard this and I've found it to be quite true, or at least reported back by the twins that I know. I found that this has been pretty like accurate, but legend has it that twins in astrology, it is said that one of the twins might pick up some of the birth chart more than the other, and vice versa. So, for example, using Lana Del Rey's wedding chart, let's pretend that's the twins' chart, and that they're born a minute apart and have the same rising, right? So it's said that maybe one of these twins might really take on in a more strong way the essence of the Cancer moon, while the other twin might really embody more of that Venus Scorpio, that they are like, since they're kind of like almost like working off the same nutrients, it's like they're working off the same nutrients of a chart, and therefore it's said that one of them might feel the punch of a planet more versus the other. Now, I think there is a little flaw in that thinking, because it's like they're individuals as well. Like, even though they have this twin experience, which is different than, you know, a person who is not a twin or a quadruple baby birth. What am I trying to say? Like triplet, you know, anyone who was a single birth has not experienced. Now, this slight 3-minute move might change where their houses are starting. This is also going to change the intensity of the aspects being made. But also, I think another thing, which is a good reminder for anyone that has a shared chart with anyone they know, is that our life experiences are also going to flavor our personality, right? And the thing is, with folks who share our rising sign, and especially to the degree, is we can see that can be a lot of overlap and similarity into when things happen to us. My mom has a very close degree rising and same birth year as one of her best friends, and they gave birth around the same time. They got divorces at the same time. So this can apply to not just people related to each other, but folks who are sharing that same astro material. Now, it doesn't mean you're going to have this exact mirrored effect, but most likely those major moments of life might be shared and happening at a similar time. I think what you asked about, like what kind of unique things twins can use in astrology, I think them as they start to, I know that you mentioned that they're teenagers, but as they start to grow and experience life is marking when they have hallmark experiences and seeing what lines up and what doesn't. Like, do they both start dating around the same time? Do they both get braces, or like have this shared timeline? Does one make the basketball team while one's got on the school newspaper? Like, are they sharing similar milestones? I think is an interesting thing to track in terms of their astro and seeing what like comes true, if you will, for them and what doesn't. And ultimately, something's interesting to think about since they're teenagers is like how much do they want to try to be like each other versus maybe there's a conscious decision to separate. I don't know their full chart and what it's looking like, because there could be folks who feel that urge to be like their peers or like their sibling, where some might have a more rebellious energy and want to like branch out and really make a separate identity for themselves that's really loud and prominent. So it also really depends on what their chart is. But ultimately, to recap, I think even if they're the same degree rising, the minutes are going to change, and which also can show the difference between an applying and separating aspect. So that gives some info to get granular. I think you can look and think about for yourself if one embodies more of like the moon versus Venus versus Saturn versus Mars, like in terms of like those foundations. Is one going with that kind of twin absorption theory of like, oh, is one twin getting a stronger sense of this energy versus the other? And 3, that they might just have really aligned life things happen, and that they might share a lot more in common than not, versus maybe twins who are born further apart. So interesting question. I coming back to say I'm not a twin expert, but I've heard this question and I've met a lot of twins and who are interested in astrology. And I think that's the thing that, yeah, they're going to probably have like a pretty shared life experience, but also siblings often do with us, right? They're kind of reflecting our experience, of course, but they're going to have their own version of that. And it also comes with, their interests and free will and all that, which we all have. So thank you for submitting that question. Okay, question 2. Okay, the question is, my question for next month's Venus things is, what are you going to wear to Charlie? Just bought tickets this morning and been daydreaming of my fit all day. LOL. So this is like a kind of, I don't know if this is an easy question, because this question actually got me thinking about this for the first time. And this is from Joe. Thank you, Joe. Joe is a founding member of the third space. So they bought the year package, not to blow up Joe's spot, but as a prime time advertising slot. So thank you, Joe. And that came with a free 15-minute consultation with me, and also gets you discounted regular readings. So if you're one of my regulars, this is a really great deal to get the Substack subscription, and then also discounts on readings and a free 15-minute consult, which we can do via video chat, or we did ours via Marco Polo. So thank you, Joe, for being a longtime supporter. And sweat tour for the brats. I'm going to San Francisco show because I'm going with my friend Debbie, who is an OG Charlie's angel. She got me into Charlie, and so I owe her my Charlie-ness. She recommended me the doc What I'm Feeling Now, or the doc about that album. And then I went to the Crash tour, where I famously fell down a bunch of the seats because I was just dancing too hard. And then I'm going to go up and see it with her, because I was like, I just got to see it with my Scorpio bestie who got me into this. And I am feeling a slight bit of fear that the LA shows are going to have more guest stars, because I'm like really into Addison Rae and obviously Lord. But whatever, sometimes you just got to go. Sometimes you just got to go with the people that you're going to have a good time with. So I am sacrificing the LA clout possibilities to be in the soul connection space, which is fine. Oh my God, I haven't even looked at the chart for the show. I should. Okay, yeah, my show has a Moon Jupiter conjunction in Gemini, so we're going to have a good time. What I'm wearing, I don't know. I don't know yet. As a former raver, I used to rave a lot when I was younger. You just gotta go for danceability, and I'm gonna be in San Francisco, so I'm probably gonna be walking around a lot, maybe going out before and after. If you're in the Bay, hit me up. If you're gonna be at the Bay Sweat Show, let me know. Sound off in the comments. But I have these black, kind of sporty spice, kind of 90s raver sweat. It's not like sweatpants because they're not like fleece material. They're kind of like sporty, like soft, lightweight, like windbreaker material. And then they have this glow in the dark reflective outline, sort of. So I think those would be cute for photos. Like, I like the idea of having like a photo reflective outfit. And I think I just might go with my staple tube top. So I did just order a neon green tube top. Hopefully we'll make it into my permanent collection if it is cute enough. So I think I'm going to go black windbreaker reflective tracksuit pants with green booby tube top. I know Charlie's biggest advice for a rave is to never bring a jacket, but I will be in San Francisco at the end of October. Maybe my friend will drive and I can just throw a coat in the car. But I feel like I'll bring like a black leather matrix jacket for the after. Wearing my Columbia boots that are kind of goth girl looking because they're comfortable and I can dance and jump. And then I think I just might go ham with the jewelry. I have this like cute kind of like chain link choker, heavy in the brat green makeup, maybe glitter body paint, you know. So I've really enjoyed all like the TikToks I've seen of people making their brat fits. Like, I love this girl who like spray painted a bra onto a tank top and like wore that. I was like, genius, with a thong. Maybe I'll wear a thong out. Yeah, actually that's a kind of good idea. I'm glad I'm talking this out loud. But that's my black bottoms, green booby tube top, jewelry. Maybe some cute. It'd be cute. Maybe I should get some like hair accessories. Like, I'd love to clip some stuff because I probably should do pigtail braids so I'm not like a total sweat head. But I do love flipping my hair around. Okay, you're really getting the inner monologue now, but I guess that's what a podcast is. So, please sound off maybe on the 20th. I'll start a thread. Or I guess I should start it now since the Brat Tour started. But I'd love to see everyone's looks. If you're a listener who's gone, I keep calling it the Brat Tour. I know Troy Sivan is also part of this sweat tour. I will say I've not listened to Troy really. I know. I feel the rush, but I don't know his other music. But I have time to catch up and enjoy. But I'm mainly going for Charlie. So Troy's a lucky lad that he arranged this. But I know Troy's got his fans too. This is not any Troy hate. I'm not familiar with him yet. But I'm excited to see him. Excited to see Charlie. It'll be my second Charlie show. And just stoked. So I hope everyone has fun. Be safe. Enjoy. Test your drugs. And let me get into the rest of this Venus Things episode. We'll get into the letterbox portion. All right, y'all, you've reached the end of the free section. The rest of the episode is over on the other side, so make sure to upgrade your subscription. Boy.